أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So before the break, we started talking about strategy, and we said that a strategy is all about how we are intending as an organization to do what, to achieve our goals. Now we said that when you're talking about strategy, it involves making decision about resource allocation, competitive positioning, and actions to address external opportunities and threats while leveraging internal strengths. This is so when you are analyzing the environment, there is what is known as the SWOT analysis. In our coming lesson, we shall also talk in detail about Madhanani, the SWOT analysis, the S you need for the strength, the W for the weaknesses, the O for the opportunities, and the T for the. So we will learn in detail about SWOT analysis. Now, let us go to the next part of our lesson. So the next part of our lesson is the components of a good strategy. So for our strategy to be efficient and effective, ينبغي أن يكون هناك المكونات. So it is just the same way when you are cooking. For example, when you are cooking any food, if you want the food to taste nicely, you need some ingredients. You need to put some salt, you need to put some tomato, you need to put some onions, you need to put some filfil, you need to put some asal, you need to put some laban, ila ghayri dhalik. So the same thing applies here. If you want your strategy to really work, هناك بعض اللمسات، هناك المكونات. There are some ingredients that you will need. Number one, vision and mission. 2, goals and objectives. 3, resource allocation. 4, competitive advantage. 5, implementation plan. ثم أخيرا, evaluation and control. So these are the components of a good strategy. So في البداية, this is using Dahabshil as an example. Every business, they should have a vision and mission. And we shall talk in detail about ماذا نعني بالرؤية وماذا نعني بالرسالة. Are they the same or they're different? We will learn about it. So for every organization, at Al Akal, they need to have a vision and mission. So these are, for example, these are the vision of the Dahabshil Bank to become the leading provider of inclusive financial services. And they also have their mission. Also, if you go to Dahabshil, they have their goals and objectives. So we shall also learn about the goals and objectives and the SMART goals. So in strategic management, we have what is known as Tahdid al-Ahdaf. When you are talking about Tahdid al-Ahdaf, your goals should be SMART, as we shall see later. How do we set SMART goals? So your goals will be specific, it should be measurable, it should be achievable, it should be realistic, it should be time-bound. SMART goals. Then number 3, resource allocation. Once we have our goals, then what should Dahabshil Bank do? For example, if Dahabshil is saying we want to increase the number of account holders by 20% annually, khalas, we need some resources to achieve this goal. لكل الهدف الموارد. Every goal, it has to have al-mawarid that will help us to achieve. Many organizations, they normally fail because at the beginning of the year, they have a lot of objectives, mashallah. They sit in workshop. We want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. في نهاية المطاف, they don't allocate the resources. And that is where the frustration starts. You wasted our time. You were just sitting. Now, after the resource allocation, now we have the competitive advantage. So, for example, Dahabshil, they differentiate by offering low cost, Sharia compliant banking products. You today, you seated there in that chair, you need to ask yourself, what makes your business unique? Maybe you have a business center, maybe you have a hotel, maybe you have a school, maybe you have a barber shop. So is there something unique? Why will I come to your business and I leave Muhammad and Khadija? Why will I leave? I will leave Premier Bank, I will leave Dar Salam Bank to come to Dahabshil. Why? Why is Dahabshil having many customers? Why? Now, we also have the implementation plan. Remember, Dahabshil already, they have objectives, right? So the objective, it needs the implementation plan. Objective 1, this is the plan of action. This is the implementation plan. Objective 2, objective 3. So you need to have a plan of how you are going to achieve the objective. Then you need to evaluate and control. So as time is going on, you need to evaluate on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, bi-monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and annually. So the evaluation and the control should be something that is mustamir, not a one-day thing. Now, on to the next part of our lesson. And this part we'll just highlight because there is a lesson for this. Because we were just talking about strategies, so I will just give you the highlights. But we will come to talk about some, not all, because we will not get the time to cover all these strategies. So as a business, there are around 6 strategies here that you can decide to use as a business. And for each and every strategy, there are some sub-strategy. So let us see. For example, number 1, you have the corporate strategy. So corporate strategy, these are the big companies, the Apple, the Dahabshil, the big companies, they always use this strategy, corporate strategy. So in corporate strategy, how many strategies do we have? Sub. We have how many? We have 4 sub-strategies. So we have the growth strategy, we have stability strategy, retrenchment strategy, we have combination strategy. So this is corporate strategy, but we have sub strategies. Number 2, we have business strategy. Under the business strategy, we have sub strategies. Okay? We also have functional strategy. Under functional strategy, you also have sub strategies. Competitive strategy, sub strategy. International strategy. Sometimes some businesses, they have their branches in another bank. For example, the Dahabshil Bank. The Dahabshil Bank is a multinational bank. It has branches in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. The Dahabshil, you can find it in all the world. You know, so there is an international strategy for that, because Dahabshil is a multidimensional. So Dahabshil is not like the bank that is only in Somali. That one, their strategy will be very different. You know, then we have different types of strategy. So the question is, which type of strategy is the best? The answer is, we don't have any best strategy. And sometimes you don't even have to use one strategy. Sometimes many organizations, they have a mushakal, a mushakal of the strategy. So you'll find, for example, a company, it is having corporate strategy, business strategy, and functional strategy. 3 strategies. The more strategy you have, the better for you. Because you'll have plan A. If plan A fails, you go to plan B. If plan B fails, you have plan C. But if you only focus with one strategy, khalas, if it fails, فبيع خلاص خسران المبين. So we will talk about all these strategies as time goes. Okay. So here we just have some quick definition, but we'll have a lesson where I will explain not all the strategy, but the main. So we have the main strategy. We have the corporate strategy. You have to understand the corporate strategy. We have the business strategy. It's important to understand the business strategy. We have the competitive strategy. It is important to understand that. Then we have the functional strategy. It's very important to cover those 4 strategies. Then the other 2, if we get time, we'll also cover the other ones. Now, lastly, is it the last thing? I think this is the last thing today. There is what is known as strategic outcome. So what is strategic outcome? Strategic outcome refers to the results or end products of an organization's strategic actions. They reflect whether the organization has successfully achieved its goal and objectives. So strategic outcomes can be positive, mathalan, achieving growth, increasing market share, or it can be negative, failing to meet targets, losing competitive advantage. So when we are talking about strategic outcome, this outcome here, this outcome, we are basically talking, khalas, we have implemented our strategy. Khalas, what is the end result? Was it al-khasara or arbah? If you are playing football, for example, we were playing 4-3-3, did we win with that strategy or did we lose the game? If we won, it means, mashallah, our strategy was working. If we lose, it means the next game, maybe we need to change our strategy. Maybe some players, they should not play. The same thing applies in a company. If this year you did not make profit, maybe there are some workers who are lazy in our organization. They are always late. They are not attending meeting. You know, they are always using Facebook while they are working. You know, so it basically means that these workers, they are not helping the organization. So we need to do what? We need to ensure that we find new blood. We find some new workers. Is it clear? Now, when we are talking about the strategic outcomes, back again. So already we know the strategic outcomes, it can be negative and it can be positive. So when we are talking of strategic outcomes, there are strategies that help us to achieve the outcome. So we have the intended strategies, we have the emergent strategies, and the realized strategies. So this is just what we are talking. These are all these strategies. But now these strategies here, they are grouping all these strategies in 3. They are grouping it in 3. Number 1, intended strategy. This is the original plan strategy developed by an organization to achieve specific goals. Okay, so remember when I was giving you the example of Alpha, I told you, for example, Alpha, at the beginning of the year, they say, we need 200 students. We need to admit, al-akal, 200 students. So, intended strategy is these are the, what was our initial plan, the original plan. So the original plan of Alpha was 200 students. We need to admit al-akal 200 students. Now, number two, remember I told you this, emergent strategy. These are unplanned strategies that arise in response to changing circumstances, opportunities, or challenges. So as time is going, so when Alpha is doing the registration, they realize that 500 students have now admitted. Their plan was 200, right? But unplanned, there are some things we did not plan for. Even when you're doing your business, sometimes you have your plan, but there's sometimes هناك بعض الأشياء يأتي فجأة and you need to plan for it. For example, you have a hotel. There is a wedding ceremony. The wedding ceremony, 100 people were invited. But during the day of the wedding, 500 people come. And you are having the food and the drinks of only 100 people. What are you going to do as the manager of the hotel? Are you going to say, oh no, we don't want more? We only plan for 100. The 100 ziyada, please go to another hotel. We don't have space. What are you going to do? So you always have to be ready for anything, because this is an opportunity. If you are not going to take this opportunity, they are going to go somewhere. So immediately you realize that the number has increased. Go to the kitchen, call your manager, say, Jama, we planned for 100. Can we start cooking again? Can we go to another hotel to bring some food? So this is the emergent, unplanned. We did not plan for it. But still we have to do something, because this is an opportunity that we don't want to lose. Now, ثم ثالثا, realize opportunity. Realize opportunity is the actual strategies that are implemented. So, mathalan, in our hotel example, we wanted 100. And now we are having 200. Now, from these 200, maybe we manage only 150. So 150 is going to be our realized strategy. Okay? So, and the realized strategy is the intended strategy plus the emergent strategies. These two strategies, they give us the realized strategies. So this is the meaning of those three things. So we have the intended strategies, we have the emergent strategies, and we have the what? We have the realized strategy. So how we manage these three strategies will, at the end of the day, determine if we are going to have positive outcomes or negative outcomes. So this is the same thing. They're just explaining the same thing here. Intended. So this is what I was just explaining, but with the example of the Habshil. Okay. So that is the end of our lesson. If you have any question, you can ask. If you don't have any question, then our next lesson will be on Saturday at 8 o'clock. And for those students who came late, I said that I have shared with you the course outline and the reference book. Then number 2, we have the attendance for the course. The attendance is 20%. For every lesson you attend, you get 3 marks. For every lesson you miss 3 marks. So for the attendance, I will be sharing a link. There is the link of the attendance Google form. I will send it to your group. And once I send the Google form in your group, click the Google, write your name, write your mobile number, then submit the form. Now, can you look at your WhatsApp group? I have sent the link. Just see your WhatsApp group. I have sent the link in your WhatsApp.
Yes, we have seen.
So use the link, just click the link, write your name, write your mobile number, submit it. That is your attendance. So I will close the link after 5 minutes because there are some students, they come later. So ensure that immediately I send the link, you take the attendance immediately. Once you take the attendance, I record the 3 marks. And I am going to disable the link. So after 5 minutes, you cannot take the attendance. Now, this lesson is recorded. I will share with you. I have a YouTube channel. I will share the lessons in my YouTube channel. Once I finish, I will upload it in my YouTube channel. Then I will share it in your WhatsApp group. So don't worry about the lesson. So I think that is all. Everything is clear. Is there any question before we leave?
Okay. Ustaz Xasan, iyada mahadsantu Ustaz Xasan. Sifeyle lakindheegi fikirka ka aadinay maqnaanshiyaha Ustaad Salaad weertay in dabagal laga soo bixiyay yaan baaharadan bacdama usukulunka lama muuqayin waliba xogtiis sidaada ka dheegasi sidusuni la wadaagay Ustaad Maxamed Xasan wayba qof oo hadda xaalado gaar ah oo
Boss,
mashquulaad leh
Mudgal,
What are you talking about, bro?
boss, Mudgal,
qof
Mudgal.
oo hadda shaqadana
Hello,
si
Mudgal
toos
Gidayo.
aan eri ma-aan iyo
Abdul Karim,
shaqadaasi ma
I can't
awoodo
get
aan eri ma-ah
Abdul Karim.
marka
He's talking something else.
haddii oo guddi
Let me
saaraan
mute
oo
him.
guddigaasay
Ah,
So is there
Yes, teacher. Hello.
okay?
For the reference book you have shared for the course
Mhm.
about the strategic management, is it the last edition or maybe I have seen for the another edition for the reference book for strategic management? Is it the
I've
last edition for this book?
That is, you have, because I have shared 3 books, right? So you are asking about which book specifically? There are 3
No.
books.
I have understand for that one. I have understood, but the reference book, there's something. The reference book, it means the book that you are teaching for us, eh?
Yeah, there is one. Yeah, so I have sent 3 books, but there is the one that I have written, the reference book. That is the one I am using.
But it's not the last edition, eh?
I'm not sure about the edition, but this is what I've been using all along. I don't know if there is a new edition, but this is the edition I've been using all along. So I don't know if there is another edition. The strategic management theory, I don't know if there is another edition. I'm not sure about it. Maybe you can research more. But this is the one I've been using all along. And I prefer it because it's comprehensive, and all the other references books are okay, but I prefer that one, because they are all the references books are talking about the same things, but in just different ways. This author is using this approach, another author is using this approach, another author prefers maybe case studies, Is it clear? Is there any other question?
Thank you, lecturer. Thank you very much for your time and deep explanation. Thank you.
Okay, Jazakumullahu khair. So we'll meet on Saturday at 8 p.m. inshallah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Welcome.